Good morning, everybody. What I have here is a Singer 107W1. I'm changing the belt on it, and I'm fixing this machine up because I bought it for sail making, and I'm replacing the head sail on my Aquarius 23 with a sail kit from Sailrite. And I put a servo motor on here. There it is. From Sailrite. It's a 12 pole and it works very well. It has a lot of power, but I really screwed this machine up when I got it. One of the first things I did was I wanted to clean all the gum and crap off of it from being in a factory for all the years. So I took a big can of this stuff right here and soaked everything down, including this belt. And then I started skipping stitches, jumping time, breaking needles, and I couldn't figure out what the hell I did. Eventually I figured out that it was the belt stretched and it was hopping off of this pulley right here. That one right there. And it would jump time, and that would be that. So I ordered a new belt. It just came the other day, this one right here. It was only like 20 bucks. I got it from Q-Tex. Anyway, I took it apart, the machine apart. It came right apart. It's very easy. It only took maybe 15-20 minutes to get that belt out. And I'm going to put it back together now. So, just to go over a few things. This is the bushing. It's actually a plain bearing. And that fits in here. Like that. And it goes in with a little bit of friction. And it's held in place with a set screw on the back over here. That fits, that locks into this groove. So this is going to tap in once I put the belt on. And the hand wheel comes off very easy. Just two screws, 1 and 2, that hold it in place. And this also, one of the screws, the longer one, locks into the shaft positively. And well, that's about it. After I have it hooked on, I'm going to loosen the other gear at the other end, which is half as many teeth as this, so it spins twice as fast, this shaft down here. I'm going to loosen the 2 set screws on that, and that's the adjustment for the timing for the hook. There are these screws down here that you can use to adjust also, but there's actually a flat on the shaft, and if you don't engage the flat on the shaft, then it's very easy to spin this and lose your time right here. So there's a flat on the shaft, and make sure the set screw is on the flat on the shaft. The other end of the shaft that's inside here is where you adjust, and it's a pretty cool machine. Looking at it and knowing what I know about metal, this looks more like cast steel than it does cast iron because of the very fine grain. But it probably is. It could be just a very high grade of cast iron. It has these wicks every place, like right here and here. It's a piece of felt that you saturate with oil, and it keeps the shaft nice and lubricated. There's another one here and another one inside here. You just fill these wells up with oil and let her rip. Oiling points, like little spots like right here and all over the place that you look. So let me get started. Okay, so here's how the belt goes in, through the bushing. I've never done this before with this belt, but I've had the cloth one in and out a bunch of times already, so this shouldn't be much different. I should be able to curl this in and lift this up. There we go. And then once it's in, it drops down. And we'll see how that fits. Ooh, that's nice. Alright, the other end is down here. Let's see how this looks. Guess I'm going to have to roll this on, I guess. That's on still. Okay. It's pretty tight. Ooh, there it goes. Perfect. Perf. Okay. All right. Well, there's a lot of load on it, and the bushing's not in, so I'm not even going to try to turn it at this point. But that looks nice. Okay, next in is the bushing. Now this is all soaked with WD-40. And I also use WD-40 to clean this whole thing. And this is what ruined the belt. It made it stretch. But a lot of people will say use different kinds of cleansers or stuff like this right here. But I'll tell you what, it gives you brain damage if you breathe this stuff. I only use this a little bit to get the oil off the pulleys. The WD-40 won't give you brain damage, and it works pretty good. And it leaves just a light film of oil. But after this is all together, it has to get, you know, real sewing machine oil. So this should go in just like this. I can feel it's low. It doesn't slide in like it did before. I have to lift up a little bit. There it goes. Never use a hammer like this on this. Somebody did and dented it up. I had to polish that out. Try to use rubber or nylon. Okay, that's in. There's a hole down here. I don't know if you can see it from this camera angle, but right there, there's a hole in the bushing. If you were to slide a screw in here and put a nut on the other side, you could put a slide hammer on here and pull this bushing out very easily. How everyone else did it, and I did it too, was I grabbed this edge with a sharpened screwdriver and it popped out just a little bit. And then once it was out enough, I used a bearing separator and grabbed it, and then I was able to tap it out, but it came out very easily. Alright then this pulley goes on. This has a set screw that goes all the way through. That's this one, and that goes on right there. Actually, right here. Okay. All right. I'm not sure which one is which. think the long one goes here. Probably long. Oh yeah, this is tight. Somebody did mention that it would be really tight. This other one goes in the back. And holds the bushing, keeps it from rotating. Alright, we'll put a little oil in here, turn it on and see what happens. Oil right here. And here. There. Alright. Okay, there's no needle on it. Motor goes on like that. Oops, the belt. Always can't forget the belt. Okay, this belt I got from Granger's. If you're looking for a 3L belt, they have everything in stock. It's easy to measure. Alright, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, this I polished up. This is the stitch length in stitches per inch. Looks like it'll go as high as 32 stitches per inch and as long as 6 inches per inch. And this is pretty cool. Look at this. It's got a slot right here. It's a shaft with a slot slit in it, and then expanded slightly to give it friction when it goes in to here. So I should have a little oil on this too, make sure it stays non-rusty. That's much nicer to see. There, 7 stitches per inch. Cool. Okay, here I am about to attempt to time the hook. So here's the hook tip right there. And I put in the heaviest needle I could find. And I'm going to try to adjust all this stuff so that it will sew again. Now as the needle goes down, it's supposed to engage the hook on the upswing, but it's not. So I have to flip this thing open and loosen the screws that I talked about before. I'll take a photograph of it and share that. There's just 2 screws on this pulley in the back. I just loosen them up slightly, loosen one up, and get to the other, and loosen it up. Okay. Okay, now it will, now they're disconnected and both shafts will spin independently. So now I can turn this around where I want it. here. What the hell? Why is that not turning now? A little bit of pressure might be needed. Okay, let's see how that goes. Okay, there we go. Now if I come around and stop this right there. Okay. Now what I want is this needle to go all the way down. All the way down. There it is, all the way down. And then 3 millimeters going up. So I'll use this tape right here, and these are millimeters. And I'm going to measure to the bottom of this hole. There's supposed to be marks on here, but there isn't. So I'm looking at right there. So it'd be 1, 2, 3 right there to the bottom of the hole. And I continue turning this towards me. That was 1 millimeter. Did you hear that? That was a needle touching. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's right about there. Now the hook should be at the needle. I'll see if I could turn this a little bit without hurting myself. Okay, here it goes. This is not working at all. Okay. Okay. Get all the way down. All the way down. And then up. Alright, let's measure that. A little bit more. A little tiny bit more. Alright, and the hook should be centered, and it is, and the needle should not touch. And it doesn't. There's the slightest little bit, and it's could be better, which requires another adjustment. I'll just show you that real quick. That adjustment is right here. Loosen this screw, and you can tap this bushing or bearing in and out, this way and that way, but you have to loosen this gear up in order to move it back this way, otherwise you'll be jamming the teeth. So this just gets adjusted with finger pressure and tightened up. It's easy enough. This whole thing is easy. And so while this is up, let me tighten the screws. This one. And the other one. Let me see if this will go around without hitting anything. So far, so good. All right. Okay, looks like it'll sew. All right, let me put this thing together and I'll try it out. Okay, the machine is threaded. Almost, and this is going to be the first time sewing with the new belt on it. So let me get this thing. Oh, it's real tight. Let's see if it'll pick up a thread. Yeah, it did. Okay, so far so good. This is V92, and I had to loosen up the bobbin case, and I loosened the tensioner up too. So, I think it's set for a straight stitch. So let's see what happens. This is sailcloth, so this would be maybe 3 layers right here. Upper tension has to be tightened up a little bit, and I can lengthen the stitch length to max it out, I think. So I can see what I'm doing. That's 7, 6. Okay, that's all the way in. What just happened there? This little doohickey I made myself. Everything seems very tight. Don't know if that's good or bad. So let's try again. That's this I don't like. Looks like it should be tighter. Missed my thing. I'll be back. I could buy a new one of these. You can see it right there. Actually, there's a couple of nice little grooves. Right there and there. Oh yeah, look at it that way. Goes way in. Alright, I'm gonna go find a Dremel tool. Okay, I'm back. I polished this piece up right here. And no more snag. I used a Dremel tool that I got from, I don't know, Walmart. It's not even a real Dremel tool, but it had a buffing wheel with it and it just took it right out. So I'll try again. So I know this tension is a little bit loose, and I'll work on that and see what happens. It's getting better. I replaced this for the same reason as this had to get polished out. There was a couple of big grooves right in those discs. Better still, oops, wrong one, this one. Tension's almost there. Down, okay, up and turn. Alright, how's that? Better still. Alright, good. Now I'm going to try a zigzag. And that's this right here. Screw this all the way in for the widest zigzag. And let's see what happens. Ooh, shit, foot's down. Up, I mean. Okay. Ooh, skipping stitches, that's not good. Skipping lots of stitches. Not good at all. And it's still getting messed up over here. Wonder why. Oh well, I'll get back. Epilogue. Every good little video needs an epilogue. Okay, to recap, what I found out was that this belt is really, besides being old and cotton and old-fashioned, there's nothing wrong with it. I stretched it, but that didn't stop the machine from working. What stopped the machine from working is right over here. Right here on this pinion gear, on this shaft, the gear had a screw in it. It's supposed to have two, it only had one. One screw locks into a flat on the shaft and the other screw rides on the shaft. The one that locks into the flat was missing. So everything worked good for a little while, and then it would jump out of time. And it did that right after, and I ended up breaking another needle and all kinds of things. So here it is. It's all threaded. It's working. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. It's set for zigzag. And here is some sailcloth. This is 2 layers of sailcloth, just like I'm going to be using from Sailrite. So this is how it's going to work. So let's see what happens. Any skip stitches? In area 1 on the back, that looks good too. It took a little messing around to get the tension right, because this material does not like to have the knot in the center. So it takes a little doing. Alright, so let's see. I fold this over like this, and let's see what happens with 4 layers. Some of these serger motors have a needle up position. Or down, depending on how you set it. Okay, that was 4 layers. Okay, this is the big test. And this would be 8. And this would be 9 right there where this old patch was. So let's see what happens now. Oh, look at that. Alright. Okay, that's 8. And 8 would be 16 layers. Should I try it? 16 layers right through here. There we go. "16 layers," and I might have skipped a stitch there, but I was turning. But there it is, 16 layers of sailcloth. All right, Singer 107W1.